Hey, it's Johnny Rocket here with the League of Liberty podcast, and I am here at Home Base 1 in beautiful Seattle, Washington. And I'm here with my entourage, the coolest cats in Liberty, the League of Liberty itself. And I have Marc Clair from the Lions of Liberty. How you doing, Mark?
What's up, man? What's the haps?
Not the much. Are you drinking right now?
You know, this is going to shock you, Johnny. I'm actually, well, I am drinking liquid. I'm actually drinking a...
You're drinking piff.
I'm drinking... Man, we can't even get 30 seconds into a show without things getting dirty. I'm drinking LaCroix sparkling water.
Are you like sick or something?
A little bit, actually. I'm a little under the weather.
And the man himself, Mr. Anarchist himself, Mr. Rodger Paxton from the Lava Flow podcast.
You know it. What's going on, Johnny?
How you doing, brother?
Doing fantastic with my glass of Johnny Walker Black Label right here beside me and just enjoying life.
That'd be a good name for like a libertarian cartoon character, Anarchist.
You know, it's funny.
Maybe that can appear in your Liberty Force, Johnny.
When I was first working on the Lava Flow, I didn't know if I wanted to do it under my name or not because I knew that I was going to, get kind of controversial. So I was trying to come up with some way to do like Andy-archist because anarchist is obviously feminine, but it just never worked for me. So I said, fuck it, I'm just going to use my name.
Because anybody who heard your voice would get you confused with a woman.
Right. Well, that's why that was never really.
Who is that? That's someone that does not exist in the continuity of the show yet. I'm so lost.
Oh, that's funny. And the hilarity ensured. We have Chris Spangle from We Are Libertarians.
Hello, hello, hello. Hi, boys. How are you? I'm sick as well, Mark.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? Everyone's like kind of... Yeah, today, man, I don't feel good either, man. I feel like shit. My heart has
There's
been
something going around the podcast hosting world.
Look, real men have an immune system. Just saying.
Right.
So like Roger's the only one who's like, I'm healthy. I feel great.
I have one. I just abuse it is the problem.
I have nieces, and so I saw the nieces at Thanksgiving, and they were snotting all over the place, and I was just like, great. Every time I see them, I love my nieces, but it's just countdown to sick time. And then
that's one benefit of unschooling is that, I don't have that.
Yeah.
My kids were doing a co-op for a while, a homeschool co-op, and man, I would get sick all the time when they're around all those kids because, parents don't, I don't know what it is, but parents, I have never taken my kid anywhere when they're sick because I'm not going to give that to everybody else. But those parents, they would bring their sick kids snotting everywhere. It's like, give me a break.
Well, it's the vaccines.
Parents just don't understand.
It's the vaccines, Rogers.
Yeah.
Would you consider it a violation of the NAP to bring your sick kid that you know is sick?
Absolutely. They are.
And you can punch him in the neck.
They are knowingly spreading germs. Absolutely, it's a NAP violation.
Yeah, that's one of the vaccine arguments is it a NAP violation if you vaccinate or don't vaccinate your kids? Because if you don't vaccinate them and then they get mumps and they spread it around, are you violating the NAP? And I'm just like, I don't have the brain power for this discussion. I don't have the time or the patience.
Well, so you don't want to spend 30 minutes on it right now? Because the
funny thing is, I've already done that. I've already had that conversation for you guys. It's at the lavaflow.com/5, the Rage Against the Vaccine edition. And I spent about 25 minutes just tearing into the vaccine argument from a libertarian perspective.
Lucky for you guys, at lionsofliberty.com/104, you can find me talking about this very subject with Walter Block. Plug party, baby.
No.
And if you go to Johnny Rocket Launchpad, episode 10, I also talk about this.
That one, I just don't believe.
I did. Have you ever talked about it, Chris?
No, I don't think so. It's just not
controversial for the newbies.
And it's just not something that I'm really interested in. Like, I got vaccines. I don't think I have autism, but
think again.
Well, if you did, you wouldn't think you did. It's just like supervillains; they think they're good guys,
right?
Well, and the reason I did my episode on it is for the reason I do most of my episodes on things is because I get sick of people, perpetuating nonsense about a topic, and there's all of these anti-vaxxers out there that are perpetuating a nonsensical, non-logical, non-scientific, myth, and it's causing people to get diseases that have been eradicated for decades, and so I had to tear into that topic.
Well, it's kind of like with with any conspiracy theory or something like that, like 9/11, where there's legitimate criticisms. I mean, there's definitely legitimate inconsistencies with the official story. There's the few crazy people that are out there talking about how it's really alien laser beams from a fifth dimension, and then that sullies the whole water, so it becomes difficult to have a reasonable conversation, similar to how like super crazy anti-vaxxers will get lumped in if you try to bring up any criticism of vaccines or forced vaccinations. People will jump right to, oh, so you believe that crazy anti-autism study guy, and then they lump you in with all that stuff. It's always the crazies that sully the water of what could otherwise be a rational debate.
But
absolutely,
is it me or like is the crazy spreading? Because something seems to have happened since Trump got elected where like it was always hard to have any kind of political discussion on Facebook, but it seems like it's metastasized since Trump has been president, and now everybody's crazy.
Are you saying Trump is a cancer? I mean, you did say I can't even say the damn word, metastasized.
I mean, that wouldn't be an
word.
He wouldn't be an inaccurate. It wouldn't be an inaccurate description. I mean,
I don't disagree with you for a change.
I think Trump. There's things that he
Hopefully
does.
It's cancer that kills the concept of the presidency.
No, it's just kind of funny to watch all these people in suits try and like reconcile the fact that there's a giant baby in the Oval Office trying to do whatever tantrum he's doing, and then they're like, where? And then this isn't presidential. It's like there's nothing presidential about him. He's a giant baby.
That's what I love about that's one of the things I like about Trump being there is that finally there is just a giant baby who's clearly like absurd and makes a quote unquote mockery of it. Where to me it's always been a mockery. So now it's just more openly so.
Well, and that's the thing is he's showing the man behind the curtain. He's showing that anybody, literally anybody, can be fucking president, and that just shows how much of a ridiculous concept the idea of having some supreme leader up there, directing these things is. It's an absolute just despicable idea that, these men on high, these 500 and some odd men on 536 men on high can tell us from, 1,000 or 2,000 miles away how to live our lives and regulate everything to fucking death. And I love when people open up that curtain and show, my God, this really is ridiculous.
It is. But what's funny, though? The thing I like about Trump, though, is he's fucking hilarious.
Oh, no doubt.
I mean, like, he says shit that most people just can't get away with saying. And it doesn't stick. I mean, they try to make it stick, but it just rolls off his back. He's kind of like Hillary in that sense, where she could, like, commit every crime in the world. There could be a video of Hillary shooting people, and it would be like, well, we're still investigating. And it's like, you got a fucking video. But it's same thing with Obama, Hillary, and Trump. But at least Trump is hilarious. He says shit that I wish I could. Well, actually, I do. But I mean, he can, and it's awesome. I get a kick out of hearing him with his shit talking, and it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and I think part of that is he just doesn't like he's naked. Like Barack Obama wasn't the president of everybody. They all say that shit, but they're really just like the president of their group. And Donald Trump just doesn't mask that, and he says shit that it like he's soft on crime. Well, like that's just a dog whistle political phrase that baby boomer white people hear. Black men are going to steal your white girls. Like he just says stuff that he just doesn't care. Like the immigration, he knows he's not going to build a wall. He knows that wall's never going to get built, but he says it over and over.
Is code for black men are going to steal your white girls.
In the way that he uses it, abso-fucking-lutely.
I'll buy it.
Like when
You
he's
should listen
talking
to the last episode of the Launchpad on that one.
Yeah, like when
people are out there praising, like, you know what? I'm not racist. I let my wife fuck black guys.
Oh yeah, that was we talked about that on our Thanksgiving special, which everyone should listen to.
Yeah,
we got really drunk and had a ton of fun.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a good time.
My Thanksgiving special was just giving, everything I was thankful for, including my awesome fans. Oh, speaking of my awesome fans, big news for the Lava Flow. We hit $250 per episode. So
congratulations, man.
That means that I'm going to start giving the Lava Flow every single fucking week instead of every other week, which doubles my workflow, which is going to really be tough. But I'm looking forward to it.
Damn time. Wait, does that mean I have to pay you more per episode? I mean,
you do? Yeah.
Well, that's fair, I guess.
Yeah.
I get more stuff.
Absolutely. That's the point. I mean, you're basically subsidizing all those losers who don't pay.
Exactly.
That's awesome. But it's voluntary.
Right.
See, that's the catch. You know what, guys? I just bought a new vehicle, a Toyota 4Runner.
Ooh.
And I got it for like $1,000, and it's really nice. I mean, it works. Everything works. The AC works, and the CD player. I was kind of impressed.
For $1,000, fuck yeah.
Tape for $1,000, right? So I take it down to get it, get the title transferred, and the plates and stuff, and it was almost $400. And they went off though. Here's the problem I'm going to complain about is I paid $1,000, but the state said, well, we can't go off of that value. So we have to go off of what we consider it worth.
Yeah, that same thing with my house. My house they made it worth $100,000 more than I paid for the motherfucker, just for tax purposes.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Oh my God. And it's just, I am fucking livid because I'm thinking maybe $100, maybe I could even see $200, but then I'm paying for this fucking transit system that's running through Seattle.
Right.
Because they include that in there. And then they just include all this fucking shit. And I guess the thing that really pisses me off is people who are trying to get their head above water get fucked. If you do the right thing, you get fucked.
Yep. But Johnny, let me ask you this: without your vehicle taxes, who would build the roads?
Oh God,
I couldn't resist.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on taxes and roads.
Yeah, but people have this like really narrow-minded. They're like, do I have to stop at every corner and pay, Johnny? Do I have to stop and pay a fine to get on a road? Well, no. You would have like a little sensor on your vehicle, and it would just cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. I mean, they're fucking idiots. That's another story.
And we already have that. I mean, you have that everywhere that you have toll roads. You have the same system. It's easy. Right. There's nothing to it.
Yeah, the Pike Pass thing.
Yeah, we have the technology. I mean, it's not a technology issue.
I know. It's just, it pisses me off. I'm really upset about it because I had to almost spend as much or close to half of what I paid for the vehicle.
God
and it really fucking, that hit hard, man. It hit hard, especially when I'm just a grunt in the, I'm a blue collar grunt in the game of life,
And the people that support this kind of licensing systems and registrations, the people that will most vociferously argue for them are the same people that are always supposedly fighting for the working man and fighting for the poor. Well, what kills the poor more than, buying a car for $1,000? And then, I'm not calling you poor, Johnny, by the way.
I am. It's
but,
okay.
When then you have to pay basically the same amount to even have the car. It's absurd.
Well, you're absolutely right. It definitely disproportionately affects the poor. No question about it. I mean, here in New Hampshire, our taxes are also based on the value of our car. And of course, it's the value that the state says it is, just like in Seattle or just like in Washington. And it's nonsense, but it doesn't affect me as much because, I make a pretty good living. It doesn't affect me as much, but I've got friends who make, $30,000, $40,000 a year, and it really hurts them every year.
Right.
And it's not hurting the rich. It's hurting the poor.
It is.
But
I guess the problem is when you buy a brand new car, they bundle that shit into the payments. So like, when you buy a new car, people don't really feel it. Whereas if you're a poor bastard like me and you're trying to, get your shit together more or less, you're getting fucked. You're getting fucked harder because you have to pay it all at once.
Yeah. I heard you liked it hard though.
Well, I kind of do. I like giving it hard.
All right, back to degeneracy.
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem with this brand new tax bill that's going to end up getting passed. I mean, obviously you see if you watch like the Facebook, the New York Times, or the Washington Post, it's nothing but the poor will suffer. But there is truth to it. In as much as we all love tax cuts and the corporate cut to the corporate rate, that'll be great for business and the companies that we work for. But that it's not actual tax relief. It's a revenue neutral bill. So essentially, they're just giving those tax cuts to the upper tier and businesses, and then people like probably all of us and our listeners are going to end up footing off the offset costs of this new tax bill. So even the Republicans don't do anything to help. Somebody like a Johnny who's out there just, it's hilarious that the blue collar president is passing the tax bill that's going to disproportionately affect his voters.
Right. Yep. For sure. So are we done with the tax topic? Because I've got a topic that I want to discuss.
Sure. Let's go for it, man.
Ooh,
I'm done. I was done bitching about it. I was just kind of pissed off, and I figured it might be a good real life example that we could use on the show.
Absolutely.
Johnny's the best Johnny.
So the topic I wanted to bring up, and Mark, I'll let you reveal the name, but we have our very first super fan, somebody who supports all 4 of our shows.
Very awesome.
So
Mark, right?
Yeah, it is the man, Jason Carrier. Jason, I'm going to call him. His middle name is going to be the letter. I'm going to call him Jason the letter.
How about Airship? Airship Carrier's much
I like
more.
that even better.
Much
We
more
could
grandiose.
just call him JC, Jesus Christ.
The anointed one. Yeah.
Right.
Next contest will be whoever comes up with Jason Carrier's nickname.
Yeah.
So Mark, you sent him some swag. I think you sent him a T-shirt, right?
I did. He got a nice new long sleeve Lions of Liberty T-shirt.
Awesome. I ordered.
Which you can
him
find at lionsofliberty.store. I never miss a chance for.
So many plugs.
I sent him a Lava Flow T-shirt. I don't know if he's gotten it yet. I haven't heard, so he probably hasn't. But I sent it just a couple days after I heard about it. So he's got some swag coming.
I sent him a napkin.
Johnny's gonna give him a hand job.
Yeah, so I mean,
you gotta have
that's
some
the least
extra
I could
Liberty
do.
Force issues hanging
Yeah,
out.
I do. I
He
guess
probably already has one though.
No.
He does.
Like the United
I think he
States, and Johnny is my Israel. I am subsidizing Johnny. I have an extra Liberty Force, and I'm going to send that along with a We Are Libertarians
Thanks,
poster
man.
too.
You should send a Liberty Force signed by Chris Spangle.
Yes.
In crayon. In crayon.
Yeah, maybe I should start signing my ad in the Liberty Force comic. That's what I should do.
Oh yeah, good idea. I could sign the Lions of Liberty ad.
Right.
But by the way, guys, I'm on issue 2 right now. I'm working on it. It's turning out really beautiful. It really is. I've actually took a little break on it, but issue 2 is coming along.
While we're talking Liberty Force, we got to mention your kick-ass radio drama.
Yeah.
As well,
Oh, hey, thanks.
now that it's
man, I appreciate
released.
it. Yeah, dude, that took me like
That's why I'm here.
3 weeks to do that, man. It took me a long time. But I do
Just to
want
edit
to
it?
include you guys in the future one, but there's a reason why I did not include you, because there's a possibility I might create characters in your likeness.
Ooh.
That's the same thing you told us on the Thanksgiving show to me and Brian and Odie. Is this what you tell everybody? I didn't put you in because I got future ideas for you. You're going to be a star, kid.
No. It's true, though. But there's going to be other, if you guys are, whoever's read the comic book, but there's going to be other launch pads out there in the galaxy, and each one will have different defenders of freedom and liberty. And so we're going to, my plan is to kind of slowly introduce other launch pads and other freedom fighters out there. And I think it's going to be great.
Behind the scenes preview you get only by subscribing to one of the League of Liberty podcasts, or all 4 of them, like Jason Carrier.
Now, Johnny, I have to say that you didn't include us, but Jason Stapleton, I heard his name. What did he play in the radio drama, and why'd you choose Jason over your friends, huh?
Right.
Well, Jason has, it was actually for,
He's stuttering.
Right.
no,
right.
well, the reason is I wanted to get,
Look, let's be
Jason on
honest.
there, because I'm not going to actually make him a comic book character.
No.
And I
be
thought
honest,
he would
the
be a
reason
really
is-
good Major Hobbs. I thought
the
he was going to
reason
be a
is-
really good. Go
The
ahead.
reason is because Jason has a fuck ton more listeners than we do. That's why.
Right.
And yeah, I didn't want to say that, but that's really the reason.
Of course it is. Of course it is. I don't blame you a bit.
That
Johnny.
should be a reason.
No,
Yeah, and I got Jeff Dyson. Jeff Dyson did a really good job from the Mises Institute. He narrated the thing, and I said, Jeff, can you do this? And he's like, sure, I'd be honored. So I thought it was cool that he actually went ahead and did it for us.
I
But
honestly
it turned out.
Yeah, I listened. I loved it. I listened to it twice. I couldn't tell which one was Jason, so I couldn't tell who was who. So because you just get so engrossed in it, I thought it was really, really well done. Like in I put it in our feed, in the We Are Libertarians feed, and several people were just like, "Holy cow, this is awesome!" So kudos to you. It was really, really well done.
Yep,
Hey,
I agree
thank you.
completely. It was awesome.
Well, and the thing is I got Robin Kerner in it because I said, we got to get a Limey in there as the main bad guy.
Limey.
You know what I mean? Because we got to get, it's always a British guy who's the bad guy. And it's a stereotype, but it was fucking fitting. I thought so. He did a really good job, Kerner did, and added a lot of effects. And but what I thought was really cool is the owner of Speed of Sound, where we record in Seattle. He's a big-time socialist. Big time, the owner of the studio. But I'm friends with him, And I said, Tommy, I kind of created this character after you, Tommy Martin. And I'm like, would you do it? And he did a really good job. I was actually surprised on how good of a job he did.
I hope you
And
didn't.
I'm glad he did it, because he hates my politics, but at the same time, he believes in the show.
That's cool.
Well, speaking of doing voiceover work, I have an audiobook that I narrated on audible.com.
Nice,
The first one I've ever done. I was just goofing around, and I thought, hey, I want to try to see if I can get a gig, and I did. And it's called The New Age of Cryptocurrency, and it's a little short book. I think it's like $4 on Audible or something, but it was a lot of fun. So you can Google or you can search my name on Amazon, and it shows up. That's pretty fucking cool.
I wish I had figured out Bitcoin. I should have listened to Rodger. He was right, and damn it, now I'm fucked and poor.
Well, my thing is, I don't really have much Bitcoin at all right now. Most of my money's tied up in Dash, and Dash is done. So when Bitcoin was 10 times smaller last year, Dash was it was about 100 times smaller. It was $7 a year and a half ago when Bitcoin was about 10 times smaller. Now Dash is $700 today. It's grown 100 times in a year and a half. So I'm doing pretty well with my Dash. I'm pretty happy with that.
Is that a different type of coin?
It is, yeah. I mean, it's just like Ethereum or Litecoin or anything else. It's just a competing coin. The thing I like about Dash, though, is that they have they've got a really good plan behind them. They've got a marketing plan. Their idea is they want to be the cryptocurrency that your grandmother can use. I mean, their goal is to make it easy to use. They want to be basically the PayPal of cryptocurrency. And they've got some really great ideas behind them, and they have money, meaning that part of the mining reward. So when people mine Bitcoin, all that mining money goes to the miner. Well, with Dash, 10% of that mining money goes to Dash Core, which is the developers, and the developers can develop new and cool and exciting and useful things in the Dash ecosystem. So there's actual money behind it, making it really nice.
Very cool, man.
Yeah, Michael, I just read that Michael Arrington, who founded TechCrunch, which TechCrunch has always been like the industry newspaper of new startups out in Silicon Valley. Arrington's basically starting a Bitcoin hedge fund, not only to invest in Bitcoin, but also other cryptocurrencies. And so, you've always kind of had libertarian tech geeks into Bitcoin, and I've heard about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency forever just because of friends like Rodger. But now, like, actual money is starting to get into it. And I wondered, Rodger, the difference whereas you see it as currency and a Michael Arrington sees it as an investment, is that a different mindset shift, and does that change, like, the spirit of the industry? And that's the thing about the different coins, is that the different coins have different utility. As far as I'm concerned, right now, Bitcoin is a great place for investment because Bitcoin fees, and by fee I mean if I'm going to send, let's say I'm going to send you, Chris, I'm going to send you $10. Mm-hmm. The fees right now for that $10 are about $5 to send that $10, which is insane. So for a currency right now, Bitcoin is not the place to be. That's why Dash for me to send you that $10 is a penny. Oh wow,
that's even cheaper than credit cards. So that's the difference. Now Dash is going to be it's called Dash for a reason. It's digital cash, and that's the whole idea behind it, is to be used for exchanges. And here in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, about half an hour from here, we have literally the biggest hub of businesses that are taking Dash in the entire world, in little bitty Portsmouth, New Hampshire, of 20,000 people. Because we have entrepreneurs and activists here who are out there getting businesses on board with Dash. The same is happening in Keene with Ian Freeman and all of his crew. They're getting folks on board with Dash. New Hampshire already per capita highest usage of Bitcoin in the world. Now we're also, probably the highest in Dash as well. New Hampshire's the place to be for crypto. I use crypto almost on a daily basis in New Hampshire as actual money.
Huh.
Cut to a shot of Rodger just whipping out his schlong, his Liberty schlong, and showing it to everybody. That's what
I'll even do you one better. I had a tenant renting our in-law suite for a while who was actually paying me in cryptocurrency for her rent.
That's nice. Very smart.
Yeah, that was sweet.
how does it get calculated? So like you go to the restaurant.
It's still too hard for me.
Yeah, like you go to the restaurant and you pay in Dash Coin or Bitcoin, and your meal's $10.99, and then you pay. Like, who does the math? Do I have to do math because I can't do
the
math.
wallets do it for you. The wallets do it for you. So basically, you just put in $10.99. The wallet that you're using determines how much Bitcoin that is, and it sends that amount to their wallet.
Okay, cool. To them. So it's like a PayPal transfer almost.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, in most wallets, or many of the higher end wallets these days, are as easy to use as PayPal. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about PayPal. I noticed recently, a couple of years ago, it was like if you wanted to transfer money to your bank account or vice versa or whatever, it took like 3 or 4 days. And now it's like in 10 minutes, your money will be there. And it's only like a $25 or 25-cent charge. So
you think that even PayPal feels the pressure from cryptocurrencies and feels the need to become faster and more,
I don't think they do yet, but I think that this new push that we've seen with Bitcoin hitting 10,000, which is now getting Wall Street investors interested in it, I think that will lead to PayPal really paying attention. But you've got to think that there are major companies out there right now that are working on cryptocurrencies for their own personal use. And I guarantee that Amazon is probably working on some sort of a blockchain-based payment service. Many other companies are as well. Eventually, it's going to get to that point. And today and yesterday, when Bitcoin hitting 10,000, now Wall Street's really paying attention. Things are going to look very interesting. As a matter of fact, John McAfee said, I don't know, a few months ago, that the Bitcoin would hit, I don't remember what it was.
He'd eat his dick, right?
Right. He would eat his dick. One Bitcoin would be like worth, $2 million or whatever. But now he doubled down and saying they'll be worth twice what he initially said it was. And he's still going to eat his dick if it's not. And it's in the millions per Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin is worth $10,061.
I totally believe that. And I think it to me is
John McAfee will eat his own dick.
Well, yeah, but and he would. I saw the Showtime documentary. No, it's one of those deals where it's like this is the beginning of the internet, and you've got a good 20 years, 25 years before the government gets to figure out how to regulate this. So get into the Wild West and start making money.
As far as I'm concerned, the most important invention for liberty ever in history was the internet, where the dissemination of information happens instantaneous. The second most important invention, as far as I'm concerned, is cryptocurrency.
Yeah. It's why.
Nice. Well, yeah. I mean, the internet is awesome because before we had no access to libertarian ideas.
Right.
And I think now it's if you want to find it, it's there, right there. And
you had to go to a library.
I'm with Rodger on that.
And purchase a book. Like I had to physically read a book by Harry Brown when I first learned about libertarianism, and that was awesome. I'm not even saying part of that may be a problem that's in many ways I think we're losing. Maybe not all of us, but are losing the idea of sitting down and reading a book and doing a deep, thoughtful dive into something. Whereas now everything has to be a tweet, everything has to be a meme or a podcast. I'm doing the same thing. So we all are in a way. We're catering to the ways people are changing the way they consume information.
Yeah. So speaking of cryptocurrencies, for people who want to kind of dip a toe into cryptocurrency but don't really want to have to learn a ton of stuff, I recommend a service called Helium. It's a service that I'm in. It's a brand new service. They just got out of beta actually just a week or so ago, and I've been doing it. I was in the beta for months and months and months. Basically, what they do is you put money into their service, and they have an algorithm. They have algorithms built into their program that buys when different Bitcoins and other cryptocurrencies are in dips, they buy and then they sell when it goes up to certain amounts, and then they just buy and sell on those dips and raises. And the cryptocurrencies do that all day long, all the time. So they're always basically making this money. In the past month, I've made about 20% on my money. 20% a month.
Wow, that's great.
And to check it out, go to thelavaflow.com/savings. That's not an affiliate link. I don't really get anything for it, but that'll take you directly to them and give you all the information you need.
So here's the cool thing is I'm actually rebuilding the Liberty Force website, and I'm going to do it where we accept Bitcoin. Nice. So I definitely want to get on that, and I think it's important because we're supporting these cryptocurrencies, but I also think it's imperative that we as podcasters also try to find the ways to make it accessible to us.
Yep.
And by us doing that, we actually support that entity, and I think it's great. I'm totally with you, Rodger. I think it's a great idea, and I'm glad that you're promoting it.
If somebody will hold our hand and
can you
show
do it
us
with
how
Patreon?
to accept that stuff, I will.
You can't do it with Patreon. So ask Patreon, gosh, I don't know, a year ago or so, if they had any plans to add Bitcoin. At the time, they did not. But with Coinbase, you can use, Coinbase does have some merchant tools that you can use for recurring payments, and that's what I use for the recurring payments for my show. None of the other cryptocurrencies really have that yet. Dash is on the cusp of having some merchant tools like that. But for other cryptocurrencies, like I just had a guy support my show for a full year at $5 an episode using Ethereum, and he just sent me $260 worth of Ethereum, or maybe it was 10, whatever. Yeah, it was $260 to cover my show for the full year. So you can do it that way as well.
Very cool, man. I think it's awesome. And Mark, you were saying something.
Oh, was I? That was a while ago. That was like a full minute ago.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't want to interrupt
the short-term memory
Rodger.
last that long?
We're not feeling good anyways, right?
Yeah, Chris is being unusually quiet.
I'm just listening because it's a subject that I know nothing about, so I'm just curious.
I keep muting my mic to sneeze and cough a little bit too. So that's why I come and go. So she said, "Hey, see, I'm still there. I'm still there. I still got it."
Ouch.
I'm just listening to this commercial for cryptocurrencies. That's all.
Nice.
Why do you think that?
Oh yeah, I know what I was saying. I said if somebody,
we gotta have it. We need to have the
See, now he cuts
Paxton.
me off.
That will be.
Yeah.
Yep. Fuck you, Mark. We're gonna have the Paxton. That will be the new cryptocurrency, the Paxton.
Right. Let's do that.
With
Anyway, go ahead.
we have a legal
kind of
liberty.
looks like a dollar.
The Paxton,
Is Mark talking?
the Paxton cryptocurrency, even if it's not better than others, it thinks it is.
The little symbol is a neck getting fucked.
Oh, that's great.
Now,
awesome.
Rodger, why do you think that that's the second most important innovation for liberty?
Because it gets us off of fiat money systems where every penny that we spend is being taxed to death. It's being stolen left and right by this government agency, that government agency. It's being tracked. It's being hounded by banks and the Fed. It gets us off of that money system. And that money system is what perpetuates government. Without them controlling the money, they can't exist. Period. They can't. And when you can have currencies like Dash, like Bitcoin, like Monero, like these other Zcash, Zencash, some of these have privacy. That's one of the things I like about Dash is it has what's called private send, so you can have privacy between your transactions. And the government, nobody can see those transactions, so nobody can know who has what, and that is super important. The government can't tax what they don't know I have. I've got probably. I don't have any cryptocurrencies as far as the government knows,
right?
But they will never know. And that's what's so important about it, because they can't tax what they don't know about.
Well,
And if they don't tax, and without taxes, they can't go to war. They can't, they can't do anything without tax money.
That's right. And here's the thing, though: there should be more businesses out there that are supporting this by accepting those cryptocurrencies.
Well, and that's what we're doing here in New Hampshire. Is we have people who they'll go have lunch somewhere, and then they'll talk to the managers about taking cryptocurrency. And that's why New Hampshire is so big for cryptocurrency, because we have activists doing that all the time. We also have Bitcoin and Dash ATMs all over the state where you can go put fiat money in it, and it'll spit you out some Bitcoin to your phone or a Dash to your phone.
Wow.
And we have these activists doing this. And that's why this is becoming the hub. As a matter of fact, somebody put out a thing about the six top cities in crypto in the world. And Portsmouth, New Hampshire, just 30 minutes from here, is one of those. And it's because of these dynamic, fantastic, libertarian, free state activists doing it. You don't have that anywhere else in the country. It's happening here because of the Free State Project.
And they can't be tracked either. So those transactions can't be tracked, so they can't get taxed on those things.
Exactly.
Perfect. I love it.
I have a question,
awesome.
Rodger, about cryptocurrencies in general. Because I'm an idiot and I understand the vaguest concepts in the vaguest way, but all right. So if I get defrauded, by a business, through my credit card or even through PayPal, if I do it in the right way, if I do it as a business transaction, and they find out there's fraud, I can get my money back. They will refund me. They will make sure I get, recompensated. What if someone defrauds someone through cryptocurrencies? Is there any way to reverse a transaction? Because I mean, it sounds like it's so decentralized that maybe that's just one of the negatives that goes along with the possibility. I don't know, but is there any? I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Because I personally just have no clue.
That is certainly a negative that hasn't been solved yet. It's an issue that I think can be solved, and there are probably some cryptocurrency people out there who are thinking about those sorts of things. It can probably be solved through reputation services. There are some technologies out there that have reputation services built in.
Or a Bitcoin insurance.
That's certainly possible as well. I mean, there are definitely plenty of options out there, but nobody that I know of. And if somebody knows of one, please let me know, because I'd be fascinated to find out. But I don't know of any cryptos that have really tackled that yet. But it's still in its infancy. I mean, when credit cards first hit the market, you didn't have those kind of services when credit cards first hit the market. That came later.
You're just screwed.
So yeah. So I mean, it's crypto's getting better every single day, and now that there's a huge influx of money, I mean, the thing is, now that Dash is $700 a coin today, their monthly money for development of that coin has just gone up. It's tripled in the last 30 days. So the amount of money now that they have to develop Dash back-end stuff and possibly do some sort of reputation services or some kind of chargeback services if you can prove fraud, that money's, it's available, and they're getting that money every single month.
Rodger, I have a question for you. So like you have there's people who support the cryptocurrency, but there's people like Tatiana Moroz, right? For one, she had her own like Bitcoin. How does that kind of work? So
she had the Tatiana coin, and it's basically, there are thousands of crypto coins out there. There are thousands of them. You can go to coincap.io, and it will actually give you a list of, most of them. But there are thousands out there.
I'm intimidated just by Bitcoin, let alone the idea of looking through thousands.
Like, how does that work, though? Like,
I mean, there are plenty of them out there that are really good to look at, but the vast majority of them you'd never even need to touch.
But like, hear me out. So when you if you buy the Tatiana coin, right?
Right.
Does that mean you can only buy her stuff with it? Is that how it works? It's kind of like
because if there's an exchange out there that allows you to exchange dollars for that coin, then you can buy that coin with dollars, and you can send it to somebody else or you can trade it for Bitcoin or whatever the case may be. I mean, it's out there just like anything else.
If you gather enough of those coins, can you force her to like play music at your house or your party, or how does that work? Is it like investing in a company? Are you part owner of?
I love Tatiana. I mean, I know her. She's great. She's fantastic. She's got a beautiful voice.
I thought it was pretty classy there by only going for having her come and play music. Just
right. But I think that her, I think the Tatiana coin. I mean, while I can see where it could possibly be a good idea, I don't know that it's not my favorite idea in crypto.
So is it kind of like buying a gift card for Best Buy?
Essentially, I mean, you can use it to buy swag from her and buy her albums and stuff like that. I mean, her idea behind Tatiana coin was that all artists would have their coin, or artists who wanted to would have their coin, and those coins would have value, and that value would allow them to buy stuff from the artist, and that would then help the artist make money. While I think that that's a good idea, I'm not sure that the Tatiana coin was the best implementation of it, I guess.
Too many syllables. Doesn't quite roll off the tongue.
Right.
I think for me, when I kind of I was like, man, maybe I could get into this. And then the Dogecoin came out, and I was busy, and I was just like, okay, this is just like meme stuff. Moving on. And I know that it got popular, but to me, like, to make a make a coin around a meme, and I know I'm the meme guy out of the four of us. Like, that's when I kind of went, okay, I'm just not gonna. And the other part of it is I don't understand I don't know how you buy in, and I don't know how you mine, and it just got it was super technical 10 years ago or whenever, and I was just I just don't have time for this.
Dogecoin is a bit of a joke. I mean, and it was intended to be such. Obviously, that was the whole point behind it. And there are other coins out there like that, but Doge actually has some value. It really does, because it's funny because in 2012, I think it was, Doge was being used at PorkFest all over the place based on some of the things I've heard and seen. And there's actually a Doge video from PorkFest out there. I think it was 2012. But it does have some value. It can be used to buy and sell things. The Free State Bitcoin shop in Portsmouth, which is owned by Derek J. Freeman of the, what was his documentary? Can't think of it. Anyway, he's got a documentary on YouTube. He was arrested many times in New Hampshire for nonviolent actions. But he and his partner, Stephen, have started the Free State Bitcoin Shop, which is basically a shop that only takes crypto right there on the main drag of Portsmouth. They have all kinds of stuff, but they take Doge. They have Doge pillowcases. As a matter of fact, my kid bought a Doge pillowcase there because they love the whole Doge meme. But they only take cryptocurrency, and that's, starting a revolution. Boy, you got quiet.
Were you guys waiting for?
We're all just floored.
I'm like, what the fuck?
I was just like,
blown.
I asked a question, so I didn't want to hog the time, and I was giving you guys space to talk, and then we just really failed there. We talk all at once.
We
and talk
usually have the
all.
opposite problem. We're usually talking over each other so much.
I thought I lost my connection for a minute.
How does the mining work? Well, after 18 minutes of Dogecoin talk, you put us to sleep, Rodger.
Right. So you asked about mining.
Right.
Mining for most coins, mining requires very special hardware called ASICs. Basically, it's a type of processor chip.
Oh, I wear those. That's what I wear.
Right.
That's the shoes I run with.
Right. I can't remember what it stands for. I'm sure Harry would be able to tell us.
All day I dream about sex.
Right. So the ASICs chips are very expensive, but they're very efficient at mining cryptocurrencies. There are people out there who have, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of mining rigs out there just crunching through these algorithms trying to mine more coins. I have never done any mining. I've never done it. Just because I've never wanted to, use my computing power for it. And frankly, in most places, your power usage is more expensive than the coins you're mining. So you're not going to get ahead. So now in places like Venezuela, there's a ton of mining going on in Venezuela because their power is subsidized. So folks are mining crypto out there like crazy.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
So basically you use that ASIC chip and it basically takes it takes mathematics and it tries to solve mathematic problems.
So there is math.
Yeah.
Right. And when it solves those mathematic problems, those crypto mathematic problems, it will, reward you with a certain amount of coins.
So is this kind of like Superman 3? How if you have half a cent or in your pay and you steal half those cents over time, it adds up to millions of dollars.
No, it's not really like that. So in Office Space, what they did was they took fractions of a penny off of everybody's transactions, and that's not really. No, it's not really. It doesn't work that way. No.
Okay.
All right. So I have $100. How do I get into cryptocurrencies, and where should I put that $100 and how?
So probably the quickest, easiest way to do it is through an exchange. The most popular, the most heavily funded exchange out there is Coinbase. It's what I use for merchant tools, and the cool thing with $100, this is something really cool. With $100, you can use my account at thelavaflow.com/Coinbase. And if you buy $100 worth or more, you get a free $10 in Bitcoin, and I get a free $10 in Bitcoin for me, basically, telling you where to go. So anybody who's interested, go use that link. As a matter of fact, this week I've had 2 people do that. So I made $20 off of that for basically sitting there on my ass talking about Bitcoin. And you get a free $10 as well. So that's thelavaflow.com/Coinbase. And basically all you do is you set it up just like you're setting up PayPal. You give them your account information, whether it's credit card or bank account or whatever. And they're federally regulated just like PayPal or anybody else. So they're not going to, scam you and run off with your money. I actually know several people that work there. And, so you give them your information, tell them how much money you want to convert into Bitcoin or Litecoin. They do Litecoin there as well, and Ethereum. And they give it to you. It's that simple.
Which ones would Which ones would you choose? How would you divvy up that 100?
At this point, Bitcoin has a lot of momentum behind it, and now that these Wall Street investors are really going to be getting into it, I think that that's a good investment. I honestly believe that John McAfee might be onto something. As crazy as that motherfucker is, I think he might be onto something. His valuation was based on Bitcoin being at $5,000 by the end of the year. It's twice that right now.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
So for me, I'm just sitting here going, all right, well, it's at 10. I could put $100 in, but it could be 5,000 next month. So why not just wait?
Well, and that's the thing is with Bitcoin, with any cryptocurrency, only put in money that you are willing to lose, money that you won't miss.
Right.
Because it's a risk. It's all a risk. So please don't put your life savings into Bitcoin. Don't do it.
It's the internet stock market, right?
But I will say this, that I wish, so a year and a half ago when Dash was $7, I bought a substantial amount. But I wish I'd bought a lot more. I'll put it that way. Because if I had bought, so another thing about Dash that separates them is they have these things called master nodes. And a master node basically generates money for you every month. So I was mentioning how those mining rewards are. 10% goes to the developers, 45% goes to the miner, and 45% goes to those master nodes. But to have a master node, you have to have 1,000 Dash. So if I'd bought 1,000 of those Dash a year and a half ago, I'd have $750,000 right now.
Jeez.
And it would have cost me $7,000 a year and a half ago to buy it.
Wow.
So
you're fucking stupid.
I know, right?
Roger would be, but we wouldn't have Roger in the League of Liberty if that was the case, because he'd be way too big time for us.
He'd be like with Jason Stapleton.
Yeah, I was in the process of buying a house at the time. I didn't want to, I needed some of that money to buy a house. So, man, I could have paid off that house.
You should write a book about this, Roger.
No, there's plenty of. Well, hey, there's a book out there called The New Age of Cryptocurrency that I just narrated.
You read it. You did your very first voiceover talent, right?
Yeah. I've got.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool for sure.
Well, we have about.
I'm just saying. I think it's a good example of the gig economy and what everybody should be doing. Like, I mean, I'm sure you don't necessarily need the extra money from getting into voiceover work, considering you have your job and lava flow and whatever else going on. But it's good to have to stack as many skills as possible, especially in an age when I think over time there's going to be less and less of a thing called a 40-hour-a-week consistent job and more of a gig economy. So I think the more that people follow that example in all in various different ways, you should never put a limit on the number of skills you can just acquire and make some money on.
And, the money that comes in for the lava flow goes back into the business. So I don't get any benefit from that at this point other than the fact that I'm, growing a business. But my goal is with various different income sources to be working at home for myself by the end of next year. That's my goal.
Cool.
Audiobooks and other narration and things like that are going to be part of that. So is the podcast business and other things. So
very cool. I love the idea, though. I mean, and actually, I was thinking about doing voiceover work for a while, and especially with video games. I mean, that's huge. Like I was watching this
pow, like that kind of voiceover work.
Yeah,
like making video game sounds.
No, he'd do the humping sounds for Grand Theft Auto.
It's so funny.
Oh yeah.
I took my kids to Granite State Comic-Con, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, and the biggest panel that was there were these two ladies who do voices for the video game Overwatch. Yeah. And these kids were just crazy over these two women who are basically just the voice of these two characters on their video game. It's insane how big that panel was. It blew me away.
It still blows my mind, though, that people are get paid the amount of money for, doing video games. What do you do for a living? I play video games. And people pay them fucking thousands of dollars a month through the ads and subscribers and the watches.
My kids play video games all day long and don't make a fucking penny.
I know. Yeah, but who'd have thunk that you would actually make money playing video games? And these guys are making a lot of money. They don't have to work. They don't have to work. They don't have to go out. They just, what do? I play video games and I make a fuck ton of money on YouTube. I mean, to me, that's fucking awesome.
It is. It's fantastic.
Sign me up. I'm pretty good at Mario Brothers. All right, so
people are all worried about the robots taking over and this and that and losing jobs, and there's certainly going to be periods of adjustment for many people, especially people that refuse to adjust on their own. But really, it's what it's going to do, and what it has already been doing, what automation has been doing for centuries, is that it makes us all wealthier as a society to the point that we can spend money and send money to people that are doing things like just playing video games. Like, I mean, you would never have a society where people playing games would make money 100 years ago just to watch people play games, because we're too busy trying to get enough food and have clothing on our backs and stuff like that. So it's really just a sign of wealth and of a society continuing to grow and become wealthier. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of cronyism along the way that's sapping a lot of that wealth, and it could be even more so. But
could you imagine where we would be if the government weren't involved in every little thing that's going on? I mean, that is really
right.
Yeah, I mean, that's
we'd be like 200 or 300 years more in advance of what we are now.
Absolutely.
I've often thought about
I agree with Roger on that.
How incredible it is, basically, that people donate at our Patreon, like, and my Patreon, for me to read the news to them, for me to explain the news, like, here in 45 minutes is everything you need to know about net neutrality. and then you get all sides, and then you walk away and you go, oh, okay, now I get it. Like it's so amazing to me, and you're right. There'd just be so much more opportunity. Yes, the world would be bigger and more complex, but man, there'd be so many more people trying to explain, and so many different ideas, and so many different theories, and so many different more versions of YouTube, and it would be incredible if we could just get government out of the way.
Absolutely.
But we got to start wrapping up, guys.
Oh, it's only 51. It's only 50 minutes. Come on.
You don't think it's going to take us 10 minutes?
Babies.
You think it takes 10 minutes to wrap it?
That's what I'm saying.
It does. Normally it does, yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Should we, I don't know, what do we all got going on in our podcast? I'm trying to say is I want to plug some stuff, but
I have a new podcast.
I'd open up to the floor first.
I have a new podcast coming out very soon from a dynamic couple, the Davises. They're very good friends of mine here in New Hampshire. I have learned so much from them the 2 years I've been here on peaceful parenting and what that really means, and building relationship with my kids. And they are coming out with a peaceful parenting podcast on the Pax Libertas Productions Network. I'm actually going over there next week to look at their recording space and give them some advice and ideas on equipment and stuff. And so hopefully within a month or so that podcast will be out. But of course you'll be hearing about it on the Lava Flow podcast. I'm also working with another guy on a Christian voluntarist podcast. I don't want to give out his name because I don't know,
It's top secret.
Right, it's top secret. I don't want anybody stealing him from me because he's a pretty dynamic dude. Though that's what I've got working on.
Chris, what about you, brother?
Yeah, so it's been a pretty cool couple months. I mean, the last time we talked, I think I was saying, hey, we're going a different direction with a lot of things, and it's been a fun month, actually. I've spent so much time building out, like, our studio and building out the platform that I hadn't spent a lot of time prepping, and I've just been reading, like, 20 hours a week at least for just prep for the shows, and I think that's really come across in the shows, and I've really enjoyed the last month, 2 months, and, there isn't a lot of fluff in the shows, and I'm a bit nervous because you go, oh, well, that's kind of why a lot of people liked us, but hopefully people will, the extra knowledge will get offset. But, yeah, we had a great conversation with a guy named George in an episode, The War on Terror was in the title, and he was a soldier in Afghanistan, and he just gave us a first-hand account of what it's like to actually serve in the military, what it's like in Afghanistan, and the folly that's going on there. Tomorrow's episode that's coming out on Friday of this week, actually, talking to a digital marketing professional about the future of social media and, all the fake news propaganda stuff that's going on out there, and I think it's been a really good month. So if you're one of the people who have listened to We Are Libertarians in the past and it wasn't quite your taste, give it another shot. I think you might like it, because if you didn't like that it was meandering and it's less comedy, and I'm sure my people are not going to like that, but maybe the three of your people might. So I'm trying to find that sweet spot as I kind of retool a little bit. So.
Well, Chris, I'm concerned for you because you're losing co-hosts left and right. Of course, we all know about the Greg situation. I'm sorry about that. But yeah. Brett Bittner moving to Boston, and Harry, of course, has been a signer of the Free State Project for a long time and will eventually move up here. You're losing co-hosts.
Harry's got a newborn, so I've got him for at least a good 10 years, I would imagine. No, I'm losing co-host. It is funny because I have always had a rotating cast of like 20 people. Right. And there's probably there's like 10 people on the inactive list. And I was looking at a photo from about 4 years ago of co-hosts, and I'm like, they don't come on anymore. But that's just sort of the nature of this. It's and you guys know it, as you have people involved in your podcasts, and podcasts come and go, and co-hosts come and go, and their availability or their life or whatever comes and goes, and then they come back. But yes, Brett Bittner is moving to Boston. I don't know why he's, I understand why he's leaving for Boston, actually, because I've met her.
I do too.
I've met her. She's 22 and beautiful, but yes. And Boston is a great town.
But he's only gonna be an hour and a half for me. I am super, super stoked about that.
You won't be when you have
20-year-olds keep taking your hosts away.
Whoa! 3 people talking. Hold up.
You can have Bittner. Trust me, you're gonna regret it. Take him.
Well, I'm looking forward to him being so close so that we can have him at our events. We brought him to the LPNH convention last year or year before. And, we had him at Liberty Forum once. I'm hoping to have him at PorkFest soon, too, because he's a great speaker.
Yeah, Bittner's a good dude, and I'm happy that he's going to a fun new chapter in his life. So
yeah,
but it's all good over at We Are Libertarians. Check it out. Let me know what you think. So back to Mark, I guess. Mark, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. We actually recently surpassed a goal on our own Patreon program through our host at Podbean, where we just passed $500 a month from our listeners. So that's
nice.
Very exciting.
Very good, man.
And that triggered a goal level that we had. We one of our things we want to do with the money coming in, besides upgrade some of our equipment and that sort of thing, and just pay for our normal cost of doing a podcast, is to put some advertising out there. So we are launching an ad campaign on the Part of the Problem show in the next week or so. So we're hoping to get an influx of new listeners and at least some new people sampling things out. And even if maybe some of them, hopefully a lot of them enjoy Lions of Liberty, but they're also going to be exposed to the whole League of Liberty when they come over to our show. So that's hopefully a benefit for all of us in some way. And we also, as part of those patrons, part of those $500 a month, my dad actually is a member of the Lions of Liberty Pride at $25 a month. So that's
nice. Hey, Mark's dad.
To the show right now.
Hi, Mark's dad.
If he can figure out downloading the app, I don't know. We don't know how he is with the technology, but he does listen to the show. So to the main show anyway.
Very
so
cool.
It's cool that he's supporting me in this venture, and got a couple big shows coming up too. We've got I don't know if some of you I know remember because you were drafted. In fact, there's actually only one of you that wasn't drafted in the Liberty draft we did last year. So I think Spangle fell off the radar a little bit in that one, but we are returning to the Liberty draft this coming Monday. I don't know if the show will be released then, but it'll be released sometime around when this show is released. We'll be taking a look back on all the picks that we made a year ago in our Liberty fantasy draft and taking a look at that. And then a week later, my episode 325, I'm bringing on a pretty big guest that you guys have probably heard of, this obscure doctor from Texas known as Ron Paul. So I'm excited to have him back on the show.
Who's that? Ron who?
This guy Ron Paul. You should go on
check him out.
Wiki.
Yeah.
Look into his stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That is I can't wait for the Ron Paul episode.
It is. Yeah.
Got some exciting stuff coming. And I also want to plug, I know my colleague, as you know, John Odermatt, has his weekly Felony Friday show that he's been doing for almost 2 years, and he's about to hit episode 100, and he's got a crazy, awesome, really interesting lineup for that show. He has a roundtable featuring basically 3 people who are in different ways justice reformers, people that wanted to probably really agree on some things, like definitely the war on drugs are almost in uniform agreement on, but also come from different political viewpoints. So he's got Officer Dominic Izzo, who comes from a slightly more conservative viewpoint, Michael Wood Jr., who comes from more of a sort of progressive leaning point of view, as well as hardcore anarchist Rayford Davis will be the third one. They're all former or current police officers. Actually, all 3 are actually all former police officers from different political points of view. So that's going to be a really interesting show too.
Cool. Well, congratulations on scoring Ron Paul again. That's your second time having him on, isn't it?
You know, he must have liked what he was getting roared, liked the roar, and he was hearing.
That's Mark. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, that's congratulations.
Yeah,
good time.
Congrats, man.
Johnny, what about you? I know you got the Liberty Force, you got the radio drama. What else is in the cards here for the launch pad?
Well, I love the old crew, but I lost the voice of reason on the show, and I'm still gonna have Kurt, but Kurt is so busy, and he's actually making real money, and
he's not just getting paid in Rocket Coin.
That's right. No Rocket Coin
Johnny
for Kurt or Johnny Coin, whatever. But you know what? I'm still have Kurt on the show. He still wants to be part of the show. But what I'm doing is his schedule is conflicting with what I have going on. So what I'm doing is I'm building the studio here at where I live at home, so I could do shows more frequently. Nice. And so it's kind of been a learning process and it's expensive to build a studio in your home. And so what I'm doing is I'm actually rotating co-hosts out. So I'm going to have shows with Kurt still, but I'm also going to, I have a show coming up this week with Alex Merced as a co-host. And we're talking to Joshua Smith, who is actually a real libertarian running or the chair of the National Libertarian Party. So that's going to be out very shortly.
By real libertarian, I assume you mean like a real libertarian.
Like he's an anarchist.
That's exactly what we need again. We need an anarchist.
That's right. That's right. So I'm going out there and I'm kind of I'm changing the show up a little bit, but I still want to keep it in the same rock and roll format. Billy, he's coming back to do some more burns, and he's such a great guy. And I'm also working on, Liberty Force issue 2, but I also might have a musical project. I might get back into the music business. I might want to do I'm working on a jazz record with Billy Burns. He's the bass player for the Hot Rod and Romeos. Our band has been disassembled for about 2 years now, but I'm actually thinking about getting back into the music business and actually doing a jazz record. That's something I've always wanted to do. But yeah, the show is it's still doing good. I feel really good about the Liberty Force. I still want to really move forward at the comic book world, the comic book world. But at the same time, the show will be a little different. And so somebody had said the show was really dark. What the fuck? And I'm like, yeah, because you didn't have the other people on the show, like, changing my perspective. I always used to get yelled at by Heather and Kurt, like, what the fuck? You're crazy, Johnny. And, so the show is actually a little bit more raw, I believe. The show's a lot more raw than it was. So please check out the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, and please check out the LibertyForceComic.com.
Fantastic.
Hey, did we ever come up with a catchphrase yet? Or a sign off? We always forget until it's time.
Liberty, fuck yeah.
I'm good with that for now.
Whatever.
Let's do it. 3,
All right, well,
2, let's do it. 3.
I was at least going to say until next time, but whatever. Liberty!
Fuck yeah.